So the first two slides are actually from the roadshow's first showing in Boston back in March. And I guess these three commissioners were the three who made the presentation at that meeting. I'm not sure the same three will be showing up, but presumably we'll be getting 2 or 3. So the Department of Public Utilities is very complex, and under Governor Baker, it was really, really broken. We were fighting with them all the time. Climate activists who have been working long-term in Massachusetts know very well the trouble DPU brought. And a big change has happened with the change in administration. I don't know how many of you are aware of the DPU 2080 order, but this is basically something the DPU put out in December saying there is no future for natural gas in Massachusetts, which is amazing. This never would have happened under a Republican administration. So DPU regulated many, many, many things. And as I said, this slide is also from that roadshow in Boston. I don't know the significance of the blue versus black. Maybe they're going to be highlighting certain things. And I don't know if it'll be the same when they come to Salem. But they control a huge part of our lives. Obviously, all the public utilities, but even beyond that. And next slide, please. We at SAFE really want to focus the DPU on the new marshalling port that has gone in at Salem. So you're all probably aware that offshore wind is, that great new hope for renewable energy, that maybe we will be able to save our future by getting rid of fossil fuels. And Salem is doing its part. We gave up 40 acres at our port to put a marshalling station in to service all of the offshore wind farms that will be coming off the eastern coast of the US. So obviously, this is now going to be an industrial area. There are going to be a whole lot of workers there, a whole lot of ships coming in and out. And we really want to know, what is this going to do for the health impacts in Salem? What is going to be the emission profile? Is it going to be worse than it is now? And if so, what is the DPU going to do about it? We don't want to be, giving up 40 acres and bringing more pollution to our site. That makes no sense at all. So we're really wanting folks to focus on the questions that are up on the slide right now. What can the DPU tell us about electrification and the possibilities of cleaning up what is going to become a dirtier site in Salem? So we really want to push port electrification, obviously plugging the ships that come into the port into electricity at the port site. This would take away the emissions from those ships, but obviously on site, there are a whole bunch of machines that are working, cars that are coming in and out, and we got to look at those emissions as well. So port electrification is more than just the cold ironing of plugging in the ships while they're in port. It goes to the bigger picture. We want emissions not to go up at that port. And Salem is an EJ community, and the DPU has made very clear EJ matters to them. They really are going to be taking these considerations, into consideration. And we want to have questions on that. The gas plant that replaced the coal plant is slated to be in place until 2050. That's BS. There's no way we need that gas plant to stay at the Salem port for another almost 30 years. So we want to ask them, what are plans to decommission some of these, peaker plants that maybe are not going to be needed as the renewables come on to, the electrical grid. And obviously, in the future, can we own our own electricity? Why are we, beholden to all of these big utilities? Many different communities have set up ways that they can regulate and own their own electricity. Maybe this is something DPU should be looking into for the different municipalities across Massachusetts. So SAFE is really focused on those questions, but you saw from the previous slide, DPU has a huge, huge, huge portfolio. So don't feel restricted to that. If you're really into, improving the grid, like whatever you're into, just put in questions. They have said if you put in a question, it's guaranteed to be answered at that in-person Salem DPU Roadshow. Put in a question and show up. We really need people to show up. We need bodies in the seats, and especially it would be very nice if we could get a good turnout of BIPOC folks and show them the EJ community is really engaged. We really care about what's going on, and we don't want more pollution in our neighborhoods. And there are ways around this, and they should come up with ways to fix this. Next slide. Okay, so as it's been mentioned, you're going to get all these slides. So you can click on that tiny URL link. It'll bring you to a site where you can register and put in your question. If you have any issues with coming up with a question, reach out to us. We will help you out. We want you to show up. We want you to put in questions. Please do that. And thanks so much for showing up. And that's it.